Welcome to week 5 of Marketing 2700. I'm Brad Scheller. This week, we're going to walk through the complete AI augmented product development pipeline that your team will be using from now on through the end of the semester. Now, what we're building here is not just a process, it's a system, it's a solution, an AI-powered system that will help you discover opportunities, evaluate them rigorously, refine the best ones, and produce a professional product requirements document, all due in this week by February 10th. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, and it is, but the tools we're going to use will let you operate at a level that would have taken a product team weeks to accomplish just a few years ago. So let me show you how this all fits together. Here's the big picture of what your team is going to produce. By February 10th, you will need to deliver 3 things. First, you will have evaluated at least 20 product concepts. These aren't random ideas from a brainstorming session. They're systematically discovered through an AI-powered research across YouTube, Reddit, X, school communities, and industry sources. Each one scored against a custom rubric tailored to your company's specific strategy. Second, you'll narrow down to one winning concept, refined through the SCAMPER method and the morphological analysis, with every component examined for how similar challenges have been solved before. Third, you're going to produce a detailed product requirements document, which is also known as a PRD. And that breaks down every feature using the Kano model, what's a must-have, what drives satisfaction, and what will delight users. This is real product development work, accelerated by AI. Let me show you the 7 phases. Now, I'll start by admitting that I stand on the shoulders of giants who came before me to produce ideas like Cooper's stage gate and enhancements to that. But here's your roadmap built on that. 7 phases, each one feeding into the next one. Phase 1, a strategic analysis. You define your company, assess your capabilities, analyze the competitive environment. This is where you figure out who you are and what game you're playing. Phase 2, a rubric creation. Based on your company's strategy, you're going to build a custom scoring rubric, not a generic checklist, a rubric tailored to your company's situation with weighted criteria and clear scoring definitions. Phase 3, concept discovery. This is where AI does the heavy lifting. We use web search, Gemini Deep Research, Perplexity Pro to scan YouTube, Reddit, X, school communities to find underserved pain points. You're going to identify up to 40 concepts. Phase 4, deep research. For your top concepts based on rubric findings, you're going to create NotebookLM notebooks with deep research on each and every one. Every follow-up question gets answered, every source gets saved. Phase 5, concept evaluation. You're going to use Claude and Gemini to score each concept against your rubric. We're going to use something called the LLM Council, which compares results between the 2 AI models. And it's going to score the individual concepts on different scales. Below 90%, kill it. Between 90 and 95%, revise it. Above 95, that's your winner. Phase 6, using the SCAMPER and Kano models, you're going to refine the winning concept to create a series of what features need to be in whatever product you develop. Phase 7, based on that, you're going to produce the PRD and the final presentation of your findings and your recommendations. Now, notice the decision gates at the bottom. This process is designed to be ruthless. You're going to start with 40 concepts, and you're going to kill most of them. That's how real product development works. Now, before we dive into each phase, let me explain why we're doing it this way with AI. Now, on the left is how product teams have traditionally worked. You get your team in a room, you brainstorm maybe 5 to 10 ideas, you spend weeks researching them manually, you use some generic criteria to evaluate them, and often make decisions based on who argues the loudest. Your competitive intelligence is limited to what you can Google in an afternoon. Now, on the right is what you're going to be doing, and where I think AI is leading. AI lets you cast a much wider net, scanning conversations across YouTube, Reddit, X, school, etc., to find pain points you never discover in a brainstorming session. You're going to evaluate 40 or more concepts against a rubric that's specifically designed for your company's strategy and what its portfolio management needs are. And instead of relying on one person's judgment, you're going to use multiple AI models, Claude and Gemini in this case, and what we call an LLM council to validate and argue and debate to come out with findings. The goal is not to replace your judgment. The goal is to give you better information so your judgment is actually informed. Now, let's talk about the tools that make this possible. Now, here's the tools you're going to need. I am posting a separate setup video that is going to walk you through installing everything. It's going to make it easy for you. Watch that first if you haven't already. Your primary AI is Claude Opus 4.5. This is what runs the skills I've built for each phase. It conducts interviews of you, creates rubrics, evaluates concepts, and generates your PRD. You'll all have access through your Claude accounts through the school. Claude Code is the terminal-based version. Now, if you're comfortable with command line, this is the power user path. It can run subagents, connect to MCP servers, automate workflows, a whole bunch of things. If you're not comfortable with terminals, that's fine. Everything also works through Claude AI, the web version too. It's just a lot of manual handoffs between phases, a lot more of a pain. NotebookLM is your research repository. Its deep research function will allow you to dig into topics and save them as sources. You're going to create a notebook for each concept. Perplexity Pro gives you real-time information with citations. This is great for current market data and follow-up chains. It's great for brainstorming as well. Gemini 2.5 Pro through AI Studios serves as your second opinion. When Claude evaluates a concept, Gemini evaluates it independently. Then you compare, let them debate, let them fight it out. And the NotebookLM MCP server is the bridge that lets Claude automatically create notebooks and run research, minimizing your work. Setup instructions are also in the companion video. Now, for those of you who are interested in such things, here's how the system is architected. At the top, you have what's called an Orchestrator skill. Think of it as your project manager. It knows what phase you're in, what's been completed, and what comes next. Below are 7 phase-specific skills, one for each phase. Each skill is an expert at its particular job. The strategy skills knows how to run pestle analysis, REO analysis, SWOT analysis, etc. The rubric skill knows how to build weighted scoring criteria. The PRD skill knows how to structure a professional product requirements document. Now, there are 2 paths for running this. The Claude AI path, this is the web path that most of you are familiar with. You set up a Claude project, load the skills into project knowledge, and then open a new chat within that project for each phase. You'll carry a tracker artifact between chats so the orchestrator knows where you left off. The Claude code path, this is for those of you who are comfortable with the terminal and who want to get a jump on the competition in the marketplace. The orchestrator can spawn sub-agents automatically, track progress in a plant.md file, and connect to MCP servers directly. It's the fastest and most powerful tool you can use at this point in time. Both paths produce the same output. Pick the one that matches your skills. So let's walk through the various phases. We'll start with phase 1. This is the foundation of everything else and something that's not always done. Before you discover opportunities or build rubrics, you need to know who your company is, what it's capable of, and where the competitive landscape offers openings. This phase is about rigorous self-assessment, not wishful thinking, honest assessment. Phase 1 starts with skills interviewing your team. It's going to ask you 2 categories of questions. First, company definition. What industry are you in? Is this an existing company or a startup? What's your strategic intent? Are you trying to disrupt an incumbent, build a platform, create something licensable, or build a product you're going to take to market yourself? Is it a digital product or a physical product? These decisions shape everything downstream. Second, self-assessment. And I want you to be brutally honest here. Does your company's culture actually support innovation? What resources do you realistically have? What are your technical limitations? What are your budgetary limitations? What's your timeline? Once the interview is complete, the skills walk you through 6 strategic frameworks. PESTLE for the macro environment, SWOT to synthesize strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, VRIO to identify which of your resources actually provides competitive advantage, Porter's 5 forces for industry structure. But here's what makes this special. The last 2 market positioning maps show how companies currently compete in your space. what dimensions matter as they define it. And then positioning disruption analysis asks, how can you shift those dimensions? How can you change the basis of competition? That's where blue ocean thinking comes in, and that's where breakthrough products come from. Phase two is about a rubric creation. Now, I want to emphasize something important here. You build the rubric before you have concepts, not after. This prevents you from gaming the system to favor a concept you already like. Your rubric is not going to be generic. It's built specifically from your phase one strategic analysis. You're going to come up with a list of criteria, and each criteria is scored 0 to 4. 0 means no evidence of meeting the criteria. 4 means full alignment with compelling evidence. Each level has a clear definition, so scoring is consistent across your team. The formula is important, and it's a little different from the standard Pew matrix. Instead of having each criteria add up to 100%, your final score is going to be the sum of weighted scores divided by the maximum possible weighted score times 100%. This gives you a percentage of strategic potential captured. And it's different than the current method in Pew because I believe that some criteria might have equal value. And rather than trying to nitpick between 33% versus 40%, if they're the same level, that you assign them the same weight, and it's figured out at the end by dividing the total against the total possible points. So the decision thresholds are also going to be demanding by design. Below 90%, kill it. Between 90 and 95%, revise it. The system generates improvement suggestions ranked on how much each one would boost your score. So if fixing distribution strategy moves you from a 92 to 96%, there's your priority. Above 95%, continue to phase 6. The output per concept includes a final percentage, a criteria by criterion breakdown, and prioritize improvement suggestions. This isn't a black box. You can see exactly why a concept scored the way it did. And that takes us to phase 3, concept discovery. And this is where AI really earns its keep. Instead of brainstorming in a conference room, you're going to scan actual conversations happening across the internet to find underserved pain points and unmet needs. The skill file that I provide is going to search across 4 platforms: YouTube, Reddit, X, and school communities. Each reveals different signals. YouTube comments show pain points. Reddit threads reveal unmet needs. X captures real-time frustrations. School communities surface professional problems. The process: first, the skills searches generate search queries from your strategic brief. It's targeted, not random. Second, Claude's web search runs those queries. Third, you expand them with Gemini Deep Research and Perplexity Pro. Fourth, AI synthesizes everything and ranks up to 40 concepts by relevance to your strategic position and needs. Your job is to review, eliminate non-starters, and select candidates for deep research. And phase 4 is where you start to build the evidence, which is the basis for your serious evaluation. You've been casting a wide net up till now. Now you go deep on the most promising concepts. And this is where NotebookLM and Perplexity Pro become essential. Phase 4 is going to run 2 parallel tracks: NotebookLM Deep Research on the left and Perplexity Pro on the right. For NotebookLM, you're going to create a notebook per each concept. The skill generates questions based on your rubric criteria. You're researching how well each concept meets each criteria. The critical part: follow every suggested follow-up question. They drill down into more specifics, and each reply becomes a source for your knowledge base. Same with Perplexity. You're going to run the prompts, follow up on all follow-up questions, and export that information into NotebookLM. Now you're going to have a very robust source of knowledge. And if you set up the MCP server, Claude automates most of this. That's strongly encouraged. That takes us to phase 5, where we evaluate concepts. Your rubric meets your research. You build a rigorous scoring system and a comprehensive evidence base. Now you put them together using 2 AI models to debate about the final answer, not one. And here's where you get to use the LLM Council for the first time. It's an application on open source in GitHub. It works in 3 steps. Claude evaluates each concept against your rubric with evidence citations. Gemini does the same independently. Then you compare. Where they agree, you have high confidence. Where they disagree, you investigate why. The council produces consensus scores, kill, revise, continue recommendations. Concept, again, above 95% advance to phase 6. Concepts between 90 and 95% get improvement guidance. Below 90, they're done. Phase 6 is where I get to use big terms from marketing programs, and you get your winning concept. Now, refine it and break it down into specifications. 3 parts. SCAMPER for creative refinement, Morphological chart for component analysis, and Kano model for feature classification. So let's first look at SCAMPER. And the skill I provide systematically applies each lens to your concept. Can you substitute, combine, adapt, modify, repurpose, eliminate, or reverse aspects? This often reveals improvements you'd miss through linear thinking. The morphological chart breaks your concepts into components, researches how similar problems were solved elsewhere, and helps you select the best combination of component parts. This produces the architecture. The Kano model, that interview is discovery-oriented. The skill interviews your team about user needs, then proposes how to classify each feature across all 5 Kano categories: must-have, performance, excitement, indifferent, and reverse. Identifying indifferent features is just as valuable as identifying must-haves. It tells you where not to spend resources. Identifying reverse features tells you what to avoid. Your team confirms or adjusts the classifications, and this feeds directly into the product requirements document. And this is phase 7, where we finally approach the finish line. Everything converges into 2 deliverables: a professional product requirements document and a presentation telling the story of how you got there. Now, again, the PRD is going to be based on the skill file that I provide, and it's going to have 10 sections, each connecting back to a specific phase: executive summary, problem statement backed by research evidence, strategic context from phase 1, target users from your research personas, product vision, Kano classified features, specifications, etc. It also includes risk analysis and implementation roadmap. The skill produces Word and/or PDF files for submission, plus a markdown file which you'll feed into code for the development phase. This 2 elements, the PRD and the presentation, are due on February 10th. So here's your timeline: 5 days, 7 phases. You probably could do it in 2 days. Let's start phase 1 today. Today and tomorrow, start with strategic analysis. Tomorrow, get together with the team, do a rubric creation. Following 6th and 7th, do concept discovery and deep research. That's the bulk of the work. The 8th and 9th, do evaluation and refinement. The 9th and 10th, do your PRD generation and your presentation generation. Those should happen very fast with the tools I'm giving you. The key is starting now. The team that waits until the weekend probably won't produce quality work, and you're going to feel very ashamed, and life gets tougher from there. So here's what I need you to do today or as soon as possible. Step 1, watch the setup video that's included with the assignment today. Step 2, create a Claude project and load the orchestration skill. Step 3, load the phase skills into project knowledge. Step 4, start phase 1. Step 5, be honest in the interview. Step 6, keep going till you get to the end. Now, you have 5 days and 7 phases. The AI does the heavy lifting, but you have to drive it. Now, here's a pro tip that I think will make the difference, and actually one of the components of this course that I wanted to get across, which is how to work in teams to get things done. So you're going to divide and conquer in phase 3. You've got 5 team members, 5 platforms, then regroup. Follow every follow-up question. I cannot stress this enough. The initial search is surface level. The follow-up questions are where the real evidence lives. Don't fall in love with your first idea. If it scores below 90%, kill it. I've seen teams try to blend a rubric to save a favorite concept. Don't do it. That's a path to failure. Save your artifacts. This is the connective tissue of the system. Keep saving everything that's produced phase by phase. Use the LLM council honestly. Disagreements between models is a signal, not a problem. So, if you have any questions, there is support for you. Everything is on Canvas under the week 5. There's a setup video for tools installation. The tool installation is going to be very simplified. The skill files are going to be downloaded and loaded into your Claude project. The NotebookLM MCP server link will be there. There's office hours. As always, if you need to get stuck, you can come to the Thursday meetings or contact me via the Canvas email or set up a Zoom meeting. I'm here to help you. And I will be checking my email as I do every day and get back to you within 24 hours during the week and 48 over the weekend. So remember, get going with your team, define who your company is, do the strategic analysis, produce your strategic brief. Everything builds from that foundation. So anyway, I'm very excited to see what you're going to come up with. Hopefully you are too. Good luck, and I will be here if you need me.